So you're struggling between the Logitech Streamcam and the Logitech Brio? Well, by the end of this video, you'll be equipped with all the information you need to confidently make a decision. Let's get into the content. All right, so right now you're looking at me on the Logitech Streamcam out of the box video quality settings. Now do keep in mind that I do have a 3-point lighting setup. So I have this light right here, I have that light right there. And then also there's a light behind me, which I'm sure you can see, which is the tungsten light, all right? So that's my 3-point lighting setup. Now with that being said, my stuff might look a little bit different than yours when you actually receive yours due to the lighting setup that you have, whether you're gonna use natural light coming from the sun, or you have the lighting that's inside of your home, all right? The best thing is to just make sure that it looks good enough for you, all right? Now this shoots at 1080p, 60 frames per second, so that's pretty good for the most part. Now what I wanna do is I wanna do a quick test, all right? So the first test is this test right here. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wave my arm slow, and then I'm gonna start to pick up, all right? So you just tell me what it looks like. Is there a whole lot of jumping? Is the autofocus messing up? And then now I'm gonna do a test that's gonna pretty much test the autofocus itself, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and move my hand up, and it should focus in on my hand, all right? So it looked like it did a pretty good job. So I'm gonna go ahead and move my hand out of the way, right? So as you can see, it's fairly good. When it comes to the autofocus, I tend to just turn mine off, all right? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually look at what the Logitech Brio looks like right out of the box. All right, so right now you're looking at me on the Logitech Brio out of the box settings in regards to video quality. So this is a 4K webcam and it shoots at 60 frames per second. So it's a pretty high quality webcam. Now, if you like what you see here, then this may be the option, or you may want to wait a little bit to the end to see, okay, what does the settings allow me to do and which one will look better when you actually tune some of this stuff, all right? Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 2 different tests, just like I did with the other webcam. First, we're gonna start here. We're gonna go slow. And then we're gonna pick it up a whole lot faster so you can see the visual quality, you can see what the autofocus is doing. And then also I'm gonna go ahead and put my hand in front of the camera again so we can look at what the autofocus does for this one. So I'm gonna move my hand right here. It doesn't look like it did at that time, so I'm gonna pull away, move my hand again. All right, let's put it in front of it. All right, so it just focused right now. So hopefully you saw that. So I'm gonna move my hand away. Okay, it reset itself back. All right, so you can see one picks up a lot faster. Like the Streamcam looked like it picked up faster with the autofocus. This seemed like it kind of slowed up a little bit, right? So that may be something that, you know, may affect your decision. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna transition over to the audio side and we're gonna listen to both of the webcams built-in mics. All right, so right now what you're listening to me on is the Logitech Streamcam's built-in mic. Now, if you're somebody who can't really afford an external mic, then if this sounds good to you, roll with it because it's in your affordability. But if you do have some to actually get a mic, I highly recommend getting yourself an external mic so you can actually get the quality, right? Because what you'll find is that if you're watching something that looks quality but it sounds horrible, it's gonna be difficult for you to sit there and watch even if the information is actually good, all right? So that's just something that I've learned over time, that I can sit there and watch something that's not super quality, but when it comes to the sound, I'm gonna be off that video very, very quickly, all right? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually go and we're gonna look at what the Logitech Brio's built-in mic sounds like. All right, so right now you're listening to me on the Logitech Brio's built-in microphone. So if you like what this sounds like and you feel like, okay, that's good enough for me, then go ahead and roll with this one, all right? If you feel like it's better than the other one, but I do, once again, highly recommend that you get yourself a microphone that's external and not something that's, you know, tied to the webcam, right? That's just my honest opinion, just with the experience that I have, all right? So now with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on to the software so you can actually start to make your visual quality look a whole lot better. All right, so the name of the software we're gonna be using is actually called Camera Settings. Now I'm on Mac, you might be on PC. If you can find Camera Settings and it's on PC, then I highly recommend you actually use that one. And the good thing is they both Logitech products and they both work on the same software, right? So that's very, very beneficial. So let's actually get into what you need to do to actually make this stuff look good, all right? All right, so first things first, when you come in here, I'm gonna go ahead and set this to standard. All right, so notice that it changed how it looked, right? It's a lot more closer up. Now, if you like me and you actually prefer a wider view, then what I recommend you do is I recommend you go ahead and you click on widescreen, all right? And just so you're clear, this is the Logitech Streamcam that we're moving on right now, all right? All right, so now over here, say anti-flicker. I leave mine on NTSC 60 Hertz. You can leave yours on that. Or if you use PAL 50, that's more related related to like either UK or Europe. It's one of those, right? You might want to do a little bit more research on that based on where you are, so that way you can set that setting right and you can make your stuff look pretty good. All right, so now next thing, I'm gonna go over here to advanced settings. So right here you got brightness, color intensity, contrast, auto white balance, and autofocus. Now what I like to do is I turn off autofocus and I turn off auto white balance, and I set my own lighting. If you're not that advanced yet, then what I recommend you do is just leave those on and get your content cranked out. All right, so that's just my recommendation. All right, so now what you want to do is you want to come over here, you just move the dial to whatever your liking is. Very, very simple, and you can pretty much do that with everything. All right, so I'll just real quickly show you. Move the contrast, that's what that does. And then I'm gonna move this back. And then same thing with color intensity, kind of plays with the color of your skin. So if you want it to look a certain way, then you definitely want to do that. And then if I turn off white balance, then you can see it adjusts the color a little bit, right? So like I said, if you're not really that experienced, just leave the auto white balance on so you're not sitting there getting a headache, all right? All right, so let's go ahead and turn that back on. And then we're gonna go back to the home screen real quick. Now, when we go back, I'm gonna go ahead and click on this plus. Now this plus, you can see it allowed me to zoom in real quick, but it also allows me to go up, allows me to go down, and you can see the autofocus is kind of moving when I'm doing that. And then if I go to the left, if I go to the right, and then I could also zoom in again if I want to, but I probably don't wanna be that close. If that's something you wanna do, then you might wanna go ahead and just adjust this to your liking. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch over to the Brio real quick. So give me a second. I'm gonna click right here and then I'm gonna click on the Brio. All right, so I'm gonna click home. All right, so now the Brio, it got let me make sure I'm looking in the right camera. The Brio got a little bit of a different setting, all right? So with the Brio, same thing with the image. You can go standard, or you can go with the wider look. If you want the wider look like this, which I prefer, then you might want to turn that on. Now they also have like an HDR setting. I kind of see similarity like on your phone, you got like an HDR setting on your camera. That's kind of how I see this setting. You just turn it on, it's gonna make you look a lot smoother. So I usually just leave it on if I'm using it. And then the same thing applies for the NTSC 60 Hertz. And then they make it easy for zooming, right? And this is what I like. So if I want to be extra close, what I would do is I would hit the 65-degree field of view, or if I want the 78 to go a little bit back, and then if I want the extremely wide, then I can go 90 degrees, right? Which is actually pretty smooth, all right? And that's one of the things that actually sold me when I first bought this webcam, was because of how wide it can go, so I can actually show more of my screen, okay? If that's something that you want to do, then you might want to go ahead and turn that setting on. All right, so now the same thing really applies with the other settings. So if I click the plus, same thing, I can go up, down, left, right, zoom, 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 and then I can pretty much play with that however I want to do it. Now I also can go over here to advanced settings, and everything is exactly the same how I just did with the Logitech Streamcam. So as you can see, both webcams are fairly pretty good. I'm sure you probably made your decision on which one you feel like looks a whole lot better than the other one. And then you also got to look at, okay, is this going to be affordable for me? And if it is, roll with that one, right? Just do what you can to get started, and then now as you go on your journey, you start to build up your income. Now you can go and get something that's going to make you look a whole lot more higher quality. And when it comes to sound, you'll have something that actually sounds good, so people can actually watch your content a lot longer. So hopefully you got some value from this video, and if you did, definitely go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Also, down below in the link in the description, I left links to everything that I talked about here in this video. So from there, you'll be good to go. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Peace.